Greatest adventure is what lies ahead.
Ah, yes, come in. Our featured presentation is about to start. You have entered into cult cinema with the dastardly evil Cheese Film and my partner in crime, Hecubus. This is the Grindhouse Podcast. We're coming to get you, Barbara.
Welcome to the Grindhouse Podcast. I am your host, Cheese Film, and Cheese Film means me. And I am joined with my co-host, Mr. Hecubus.
There's one podcast to bring them all, then in the darkness bind them.
And of course, generating our AI images is the one and only Randy O'Fickle.
The greatest adventure.
The Greatest Adventure is the only original song in this.
Yeah, believe it or not.
All the other ones are from the book.
Do you believe it because it's kind of the worst one?
It's kind of the worst one.
Kind of the worst one. They're all terrible.
Oh, I love the Goblin song.
The Goblin ones kind of go hard, but
Listen,
that one,
the Goblin Town.
they repeat the same line like 20 times. That song comes back up more than
It's
anything.
a recurring theme.
They spent the money on it.
I guess.
When I read the book, I just skipped over. If
You
it looked like it was
you didn't
supposed to be
sing it?
sung, I just nope.
Well, because it's like it's so there's the text, and then it's broken in like a shorter paragraph, all italicized.
Yeah,
Right.
like a song.
Yeah. So I see why
Do
you
you sing it in your head?
I have this movie in my head when I read it. The when they're doing the Misty Mountains, I don't do the new one, the far over. I do Gandalf's spoken one because I think it's more mood setting. Because that's what he's doing. So when he's regaling the story of the Misty Mountains, he's singing that song, and then the dwarves kind of come in with a chorus. But everything he's saying is the lyric, which I think is a cool way to do that.
It is. Ooh, they're boring. Oh,
Have you seen the Jackson ones?
I have not seen the Battle of the Five Armies.
Wow. Okay. I just rewatched. Well, I only saw the first one when it came out, and then didn't watch this next two because everybody said they were terrible.
Right.
So I put them off, and then Courtney was like, "Well, I love these movies. I want to watch Lord of the Rings. Let's start with The Hobbit." And I was like, "Well, I haven't seen these two, so why not?"
Sure.
Oh my God, they're amazing. Everybody who hates on them is wrong.
I like the second one too.
I think they're so good. I watched the extended editions too.
Yeah.
Got every ounce of the stuff in. Wow, I loved it. I was blown away by it. And
I do kind of agree with the people that detractors that like that one guy who I guess is in The Hobbit for a minute and he's got like a sled that's got pulled by rabbits.
Oh, the wizard.
Yeah. That guy.
Radagast. The Brown?
Yeah. I could do without him. And he seems to be kind of a caricature.
He's goofy.
Yeah, it's too goofy.
It's a little kitty. But what's kind of cool, and
I do think his sled pulled by rabbits.
Rabbits is a nice idea because they're huge rabbits too.
Yeah, that's cool.
And he's got bird poop on his face. I could have done with that. That's
sticks
dumb.
in his hair. Come on, man.
I liked the birds under his hat. I thought that was kind of cute. But he is absent from this movie.
Yeah, because I think he's only mentioned one time, and that's it.
Well, because I think...
And then they took it and ran with it in the Jackson movies.
Yeah. So, by the way, directed by Jules Bass and Arthur Rankin
Yes,
Jr.,
it's a Rankin and Bass movie.
who brought you the Christmas classics you all grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody doesn't believe me that this is a Rankin Bass movie.
I don't know why they wouldn't.
Absolutely a Rankin Bass.
What did they make?
Year Without a Santa Claus Coming to Town, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Okay.
All of those claymated, or they're stop motion, are they?
They're stop motion, but they might not be clay. But
Whatever.
I think they had a couple other. Happy Birthday!
He did Frosty Snowman.
I'm pretty sure they did Frosty Snowman too. The first, not the John Goodman, the first one. I'm pretty sure they did. Yeah.
So again, everything, all those Christmas stuff you watch. They do the Hobbit and
they religious stuff too, because they did stop motion stuff for the little drummer boy.
They did, and there's another one.
There's another one too, but yeah, all that crap.
Jack Frost.
Jack Frost. Yep, all that.
And so, if you're watching something, there's a puppet and he's moving like this, and these lips aren't really syncing up to any of the audio, that's Rankin Bass. It's very unique. It's like Leica. Like nobody else does it that way.
Yeah.
But we have Orson Bean as Bilbo. I think he does an all right job as Bilbo. John Huston as Gandalf.
Yep.
Who we've previously talked about on the podcast.
Yeah.
Mr. Chinatown, the bad guy in Chinatown. He directed the Maltese Falcon.
He directed, and the African Queen.
And African Queen.
Amongst many other things.
So he is an alumni of the Grindhouse podcast.
Yes.
And Hans Conrad was Thorn.
Conried, I think it is.
Conried was Thorn.
Yeah, he's George Darling and Captain Hook in Peter Pan, Walt Disney's Peter Pan. And he did Snidely Whiplash, too, from other cartoons. You hear his voice all over the place.
Yeah. Big voice actor. Those are the three I wrote down because those are the three characters in this movie anybody cares about.
Who's Smaug?
Right, hang on, there's one more.
Smaug? I didn't write his down. I should have.
I liked his voice actor. He did pretty good.
So
I don't remember which one it was either, but Brother Theodore, who might have been Smaug. No, he's Gollum, yeah. In this movie and Return of the King.
Specifically.
Yeah. And he's this German guy that used to do like stream of consciousness comedy, and he called it stand-up tragedy. And I guess he's a pretty wacky guy and pretty cool.
I like that. I'll get you the Smaug's name here in a second because I still have it pulled up. It's Richard Boone.
No.
I don't think you have seen anything.
He was in like Have Gun Will Travel and stuff like that. He's a pretty big actor.
Big Hollywood actor.
Yeah. He's in a lot of stuff.
Now,
there was a show called The Richard Boone Show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think it was a Western.
So your first impressions on Rankin Bass's
My first
Hobbit.
impressions of this, I used to love this movie. And then I saw it after The Lord of the Rings. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, I loved that movie. And I liked this one.
Yeah.
And now all this other stuff, forget it. It's just boring, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I think Randy might share your sentiment there, too.
I don't think it's boring.
You don't think it's boring?
I liked it. I thought it was good. I like this more than Warriors. Because this was the movie I watched before Warriors.
This is your appetite starter?
I was like,
Me too. And I'm like, I'm watching a cartoon before the feature.
That's how they used to do it.
It was 90 minutes. I was like, all right, I can run through this. I don't think this has time to be boring until when they're
over.
Until when they're doing the credits, the pre-credits. I did not even pay attention at all. As soon as they kept singing, as soon as they I swear it happened so long to the point where right before it ended, I was like, how long is this going to go? And then I looked and I was like,
you get the full 4 minutes.
It's only a second more. I'm like, all right, I can handle that. Anytime that happened, that's not. Eventually, it became funny because of how much they play it.
Yeah,
I was like, by the fourth, fifth time, you're like, all right, the greatest gift is this. I don't think it ever has time to be boring. You could tell the voice actors are like either they sped up their lines in post or they said them fast because it's almost like you say a line, I say a line, you say a line, maybe some music. Now right back to it. There's specifically when the goblins are happening and there's the whole, no, dude, they're evil, they're against us. And he's like, no, look at the sword. Boom. Immediately the dude's like, oh no, we need to kill them. And then it goes, I don't think it ever has time to get boring is my thing until the humans come in. As soon as the humans get in, I feel like it's like
The humans as in from Lake Town, or the humans?
Lake Town,
Like the elves.
Lake Town, elves aren't human.
Okay, I'm just making sure that's not.
But no, the guys, just the guys.
Who killed the dragon? By the way,
Yeah, they do. No, they're. I'm like, all right, like let's wrap it up. But other than that, I like it. It's cool. I think it's pretty cool.
I like
So-
the main Lake Man's voice, though. He's a classic cartoon guy.
So it's been said that the Jackson trilogy is too long and this movie's too short.
Yeah, it does. They cut a lot of stuff out of it.
They really do.
And, like at the very beginning, the dwarves like stumble into his
one
house,
after the other.
and this one they're just there.
Yeah, and they
And singing about how this guy hates if you break his dishes.
that's in the book.
Yeah, I would hope this guy would be mad if you broke all his dishes.
But they don't break his dishes.
I found it funny. He was like, no, and that's what he hates. Like, I almost was like,
Yeah, the way
yeah.
they sing these songs too, it's all just monotone and
Got the glasses, break the plates.
yeah.
I feel that's more like, in my head, that's what fantasy music always sounds like to me. Like, just almost operatic, almost like religious-esque.
Okay.
That or folk.
I think this movie leans more into folky music.
Well, that guy is a folk J.R.R, the guy that wrote the greatest
tell.
gift or whatever. He was a big folk artist for decades.
I do like, so The Hobbit, aka There and Back Again, is Bilbo's journey.
Right.
Through Bilbo's experiences traveling with these dwarves.
Yeah.
And I really like how this movie feels like it's Bilbo's perspective.
Oh
on
yeah,
what's going
absolutely.
On. He
Yeah,
get
without a doubt.
constant narration from him. I think it does supplement a lot of what is missing, because the book is 6 months to 2 years. I think the time
Oh,
frame.
right, yeah.
From the time he leaves the Shire to the time he comes back, I think it's got to be 1.5 to 2 years.
I think it is 1.5 years.
So when he's sitting there and he's and with the elves and he's like, and I took days to come up with an idea.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, okay, because it did. But they got to speed run that because
Yeah.
they only have animation's expensive. Which I think is kind of cool that they animated this movie and it wasn't puppets or it wasn't live action. Or even rotoscopes
Yeah.
that we'll get to in the future.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
That's a nightmare.
Oh my God, the work that
So
went into
cool.
that.
Are the tree people in the original Hobbit book at all?
The tree people.
The Ents?
Yeah.
The
No.
wood elves?
No, they come in later.
Okay. That was,
That prison the dwarves?
No, in the Lord of the Rings,
there's like tree.
Oh,
Merry and
Treebeard.
Pippin,
Yeah.
Treebeard,
Yo,
the
oh.
Ents.
Yeah,
I like.
they're not. in
I
this.
wanted them in this so bad.
You don't get the giant mountains fighting each other either in this. And you know what you also don't get? The Arkenstone.
Is that in the middle of the mountain?
That is the
heart
king's
of the
jewel.
mountain?
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's right. You don't.
is a big plot point in the movie The Hobbit, and I thought that was added in there, but it's not. It's
Yeah.
in the novel too. And Bilbo is promised 1/14 of the loot,
Right.
and when he's in there with Smaug, he finds that,
Yeah.
and he's like, "This doesn't count." Nobody, because they don't tell him about it, because Thorin wants it and doesn't want anybody else to take it. So he's like, well, I'm not going to tell him it's in there.
Right.
And Bilbo sees this one very particular gem and he's like, this isn't it. Yeah, this is not what he's talking about. But he keeps it to him. And that's what eventually gets the negotiations with the elves and the humans with the dwarves, is because he gives it to them.
Right.
He betrays Thorin. You kind of miss that in this. Thorin just becomes a jerk out of nowhere.
I kind of think he does too. But in the movies, he seems like he does too. Like that, the guy. I don't know. once he gets what he wants, everybody else can just go to hell. It seems like in the movies. In this one, it just seems like I don't know. He just turns into a jerk, like he woke up on the wrong side of a rock.
So in the other movies, they have a whole. He's going crazy. He's got dragon sickness.
Yeah.
The greed has taken his heart, like it did his grandfather, like it did his father, and he fell victim to it too. And without that, it feels like Thorin, who hasn't been really, and he's kind of brutish, but he's not a jerk.
Yeah.
Just out of the nowhere. Now he's a monster.
Yeah.
That dragon, it's your fault he's awake. And he is killing those people.
Yeah.
And they just want enough to rebuild their homes.
Right.
And you're like, no, go die.
I'm keeping it all. Yeah.
It's rude. And without that whole explanation as to where his downfall comes, why he's a tragic character, I don't think it worked as well.
Yeah.
You do get Gollum in this, and he is unique. I've not seen... I don't know if he's even based on Tolkien's drawing of Gollum.
Right. He might be just as... Well, he probably just is like... Because
I don't think Tolkien drew that. Like he's not...
I don't think so either, but I think they just kind of assumed what he would look like. Living in a cave and not being human anymore.
Yeah, because he's like a frog, you know?
Yeah, he's way more like a frog.
Yeah.
Because in the Lord of the Rings, he looks really cool. He looks like, what's his name? In the movies.
Him?
Yeah.
Andy Serkis?
Yeah. He looks really cool. It moves around a lot like him and stuff.
That's cool.
This one more like Eeyore.
He's very depressed, very, he paddles really slow, has no energy until he realizes that he don't have his ring anymore.
Right.
And I do like it because it's menacing, but I think it's too distracting.
Yeah,
almost,
it is. And the way they do it in other ways makes more sense than where a Hobbit guy would now look like that.
Yeah. See, I think in the Lord of the Rings trilogy that Jackson did, where you actually get to see Smeagol's origin,
backstory, yeah.
I think that's done perfectly.
Yeah, me too.
That he's almost instantly, because he was a hobbit.
Yeah.
He's just a guy, he's doing his own thing, and he finds
going fishing on his birthday.
Yeah, he finds this ring, and he just goes nuts, and
kills his friend immediately
over this ring, and it talks to him. And he keeps it in his pocket, and it's his alone. And he hides in a cave where nobody can take it. And I don't know. You just feel like it's not Gollum. It's just a creature he runs into.
Yeah, so that's what it seems like.
He kind of loses it. Yeah, I do like how he freaks out when he realizes that he took the ring, and he curses him, and he's like, "I hate Baggins forever." I think that's pretty cool.
I like that he realizes it from the riddle. Not that he's like, oh no,
like he did figure it out.
It's missing. It would have been there. Oh, he has something in my hand. Yeah, it wasn't like.
Yeah,
it has to
riddle,
be him.
though. What's
agree.
in my pocket?
That's
not
a riddle.
But
how many fingers am I holding up? It's not a riddle.
Yeah, whatever.
I always thought that from when I read the book and everything. I'm like, that doesn't even make any sense
at all. I listened to the audiobook too, and Andy Serkis reads it.
That's cool.
Oh my god, Andy Serkis I think might be the best Bilbo ever.
Oh really?
He does a great job.
That guy, what's his name? Martin Freeman. I thought he did a great job too, though.
Yeah, he's a good one too. And everybody, I think he's a good Bilbo.
What's his name?
Old Bilbo?
Yeah.
I don't know his name.
Man, I can't think of his name. But he does a good job, too.
That's just the way he talks, Andy Serkis, because you only have your voice to work with an audiobook. But he really does a great job selling Bilbo.
I believe
and then when Gollum shows up, he does
his Gollum voice.
Yeah, which is awesome.
It would be a ripoff if he didn't.
If he didn't.
People would be getting their money back.
It's hilarious is he did this for free. He did a live stream. Well, I guess it was for charity, but he did it on his own. He read the whole Hobbit,
man,
start to finish in one sitting, I guess. And for charity.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. Well, the
That
live
like his
stream.
19 hours.
Well, this one, the dramatized audiobook was 15 hours.
Yeah.
But the
Without taking a leak.
live stream is on YouTube, I believe, that you could watch it.
That's cool.
And I think he's one of the people who does the yearly read of Lord of the Rings.
Huh.
Merry and Pippin do it.
Yep.
I don't know if Frodo and Sam do.
I doubt Frodo does. He does
He's
movies.
everywhere.
And so does Andy Serkis, though. He does a lot of stuff.
But they'll read the Lord of the Rings every year, and I think that's really cool. They got a love for it. So one of my favorite scenes in this movie is a goblin scene. I think it's scary. I think it's well executed. I like the flash with the fire, and they take them, and they got the goblin song. I love how it looks like they got two throats.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
Because they're just... They are exactly fantasy monsters.
Yeah, they are.
There's orcs in this world, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Weren't those big nosed people?
No, those are trolls.
Okay.
So
They could have been orcs to me too.
in this movie, I don't think they show the orcs.
They don't. There's no orcs in it.
they
There's just
say
That's a
that goblins show the
Sauron. That's a
on the walls.
Sauron thing.
No. So that's...
I'm only basing this off of the magic. So
Yeah, I'm going to I sound like such a nerd. So the orcs are orcs. They're just there. They live up in the north, and they're orcs. They're disgusting, pillaging monsters. The Uruk-hai are a whole different thing.
Right.
And they're kind of inbred, grown from the ground.
Grown from the ground. Yeah. Grown.
Monster. They're evil.
Yeah.
Like, these other things, they're also mean and antagonistic, but these things serve Sauron.
Right.
And Sauron alone. And they're forged under the mountain.
That's very cool.
Oh
I
my
love
God,
that
I
part.
love it. I love that music. The bum, bum, dum, dum, bum. It's so good. And they're more aggressive. They're dirtier. They're snarlier. They're nasty.
So,
Man flesh.
speaking of this, you both have seen Smiling Friends, right?
Yeah.
So, I know you know what I'm talking, but have you seen like the episode that's like based off of this kind of?
No.
So they go to a fantasy.
Really?
They go to a fantasy world, right?
Okay. I'm
They go to a
watching that when I
fantasy
get home.
world, and he meets this character.
Bilbo.
He meets pretty much Bilbo. It'll be very.
You gonna pull it up?
I'm gonna try.
Oh, it's so small.
Yeah,
Oh, that's tiny. I can't see it.
I'm gonna pull it up where you can see it, but they won't.
But yeah, so they got to make. I think they're trying to make Bilbo smile, and he's just got this gift that he wants to give the princess.
She's making the princess smile. They meet Bilbo.
Oh, they meet him on the way.
and he's going to the
wait a
princess
minute.
anyway.
Maybe I have seen that.
And so he's like almost exactly like
You,
Bilbo.
Charlie.
Yeah. And then there's a witch in here for like 5 seconds that
Looks like the troll.
like the trolls, which is really cool.
Does it look like the trolls or look like the goblins?
Is this
The
on
goblins.
Halloween and he gets lost in the woods?
No,
Might
it's
be
a
okay,
different
okay,
episode.
No.
Okay.
This is we were right there. That is my favorite joke because they're right there and they get kidnapped by this witch. And they wake up. They're in like a either tied up together or they're in a cauldron. And he looks out on like she's got this big open area in their cave and there's the mountain way over there. They were just there and Charlie gets so mad. They're right and they have to start this whole journey because he didn't want to do it at all. Pim's the one who's like, let's do it, Charlie. It's going to be an adventure.
Well, he's always like that.
And by the end of the thing, Charlie's the one having a great time. And Pim's turned into Gollum. They straight up...
So this is what the witch looks like, which isn't a great example, but it's a nod to it more than anything.
yeah.
And then
Yeah.
this is... Can you see that?
Can you make it bigger? It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
It's just fun. It's funny that they use this
you should watch it,
specifically.
and it would be...
Yeah, I will check
because
it
it's-
out. Definitely.
And he sings. He's like, I feel a song coming on. Pim, Mip. Yeah, it's And then a lot of like the answers to the things are that obvious. He's like, oh, it must be a riddle. There's a thorn stuck in this tree. And he's like, have you tried pulling it out? And that's just it. He's like, you're a genius. It's really good.
That's great.
Yeah.
We're still recording, right?
Yeah, this is
Yes.
a big. I was bored watching it this time, but
Aw,
it is
man.
a big cultural thing.
It is.
You know, it's not a joke.
I think part of my reason I like I haven't seen it since I was a kid. I saw that Smiling Friends episode, and ever since then I've wanted to watch it again. So
now
I
you have the
think
opportunity.
part of me I liked it because of that.
Yeah, sure.
So Courtney does not like this one.
Yeah,
She just
Even the
doesn't like
goblins?
because they took everything out of it, man.
They
It's
do.
real-
It really is like, so if you got a rotisserie chicken and then you brought it home, you're like, I can't wait to eat that rotisserie chicken, and then you open up the fridge and you've got just like the scraps left.
yeah,
That's kind of what this is.
yeah, it kind of is.
Like, you still have meat on the
You
bones.
could tell it's the chicken still.
Yeah. It's just not what it could
Yeah.
have been. And Randy pointed this out before we started. Bilbo, and even in the novel, more in the novel, saves these dwarves.
all the time. Yeah.
Oh my, they
The
are
whole time.
useless.
They are everything.
I think Gandalf, like they went to Gandalf again. I was like, oh, I'm not fighting a dragon.
not doing
Yeah, I'm not. I know someone who would do that though. No
I know
problem.
a sucker.
Let me go get him.
Let me
Yo.
go get him.
He's a
Go
burglar.
kill these guys. Like get these guys out of. Go on this adventure and you'll die. Like essentially, you're gonna die and good.
Well, that was the thing, is that Gandalf wanted Bilbo, and that's the debate. Gandalf wanted Bilbo on this team. Thorin did not. And Gandalf said, if you don't have Bilbo on this team, then I ain't helping you. I think it's because Gandalf's a god, essentially. He's an angel in human
Not yet.
form.
He's Gandalf the Grey still.
With wizards, even in any wizard in the Tolkien universe, is this. He's an angel. He's got an angel name that Elrond refers to him only as. In the Jackson one,
I forgot
Mithril or something. It's like that.
Huh.
And I think Gandalf had the foresight that ring is the ring.
Right. I could go there with you until Lord of the Rings, where I got to go look up all this crap, and it turns out this is the ring. You know what I mean?
You know, it's funny because this book was written before that was even thought of.
Right.
Tolkien wrote The Hobbit before he wrote Lord of the Rings, and that ring and this ring were different. It wasn't until later that he revised this to be
The one.
the one ring, the ring of power, the ring that Sauron wore himself. And I do like that in the Jackson one, that the ring is just a gold ring that turns you invisible. That's it. Because it doesn't even have the inscriptions on it. Nothing.
Oh,
It's
in The
just
Hobbit?
gold. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice that. I assumed it was the same ring.
Well, it was the same prop. Because in the Lord of the Rings, it's got the inscription on it
Right.
that everybody knows.
Well, he has to put it in the fire to see it.
Yeah. But they could have alluded to that.
Uh-huh.
They could have done anything like that, but they don't. They
Yeah.
just keep it. And like he sees the whole world that Frodo sees too. Mm-hmm. But like it doesn't change his perspective on anything. He's not seeing anything that unseen. He doesn't see the eyeball
Right.
until later when they really pull those two strings together. That Smaug and Sauron are connected.
At the end of the cartoon, he's like, he alludes to, what does he say? I forgot what he said, but he makes an allusion
That
to
he
set
knew
up
he
a
had the ring.
sequel. Yeah,
Yeah. And I don't remember that happening in the book.
I don't think it does.
But it happens in the Jackson one too, where he's like, "Don't think I don't know about little gold rings that turn you invisible." I think that's weird because in the Jackson one, he keeps leaving.
In the first one, he says Bilbo. He makes Bilbo's funny ring,
Yeah,
or magic ring, or funny magic ring, something like that.
because he keeps leaving to find out what's going on with everything else.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, we got to find these rings. Well, Mr. Bilbo, when it comes out of nowhere, a ring that turns you invisible. I'm like, it's right there, man.
Right.
You're right there. But yeah, so as far as an adaptation goes, it does feel like a speed run.
Yeah, it's like an adaptation because most movies that come from books have huge chunks taken out of them.
Yeah.
Do the spiders talk in the movie?
When he was wearing the ring. In the book, I think they just talk.
Okay.
I don't remember, actually, if they just talk in the book.
I
think
didn't
they're
like
talking
that they
spiders.
talked.
You do like it?
I didn't.
I love it. I love the way the spiders look.
I like
Yeah,
how
the
they
spiders
looked.
look pretty cool.
I don't like how they talked. I don't like their voice actors. Going back, I did like Smaug's voice actor, and I liked how he looked a lot. I liked how all the monsters.
Yeah, they do
looked in
talk.
this.
Wow, I just pulled it up, too. Now we see you, you nasty little creature. Yeah, they talk.
Oh,
It's the world of Tolkien.
Yeah, because I could have gone without the spiders were scary enough. I don't think they needed to talk.
Now, see, I like how they look like wolf spiders.
Yeah.
But not like a real wolf spider. Like if you were to draw
A wolf
and a spider.
right.
I
One of the
just-
things,
yeah,
these
I love the
animators,
designs on these.
they were mostly Japanese animators.
Really?
And that's why it has that kind of feel to it.
Almost feels like Zelda.
And
If you took Bilbo out and put Zelda in here, it would be a Zelda movie. I think it'd pretty even.
yeah. And the way they drew Smaug, where it looks like he has hair.
yeah, I hate this Smog.
I love that Smaug.
This is the Smog from the Jackson movie.
Yeah, he's cool. And I
This is
like
a
better
dragon?
Dick Cumberbatch too.
Smog is the dragon.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I don't love when they chimera dragons and make
And they
them look
totally
more
did
mammals.
that because it's
So what does
supposed
that
to be
mean?
more like a Norse dragon, and the Japanese people made him elongated him like their dragon
Yeah,
more.
like he has a wolf head. He's a mammal head. The
Yeah,
rest
like
of his
a
body
cat.
is reptile,
And
and
the
then
way
his
his
wings
eyes, I
his
love the
wings are like
eyes.
Yeah, I like
that.
his eyes too.
yeah. Why the light?
Yeah, it's weird, but I can't.
Why is it
Like,
lighting?
can he see in the dark,
He's got
or is he like I have
dark vision.
I have flashlight eyes?
He does not have.
Okay.
It's a artistic choice to show that he is.
Okay. That's what I thought, but then eventually, like, they don't do it every time.
Well, they don't do it in this movie, and it doesn't say in the book. His eyes illuminated.
No, but
Cartoon.
I'm saying like for consistent, they don't do it every time he's looking around. Like he
turns
doesn't
them on,
always-
yeah.
Yes. So I was wondering if
He,
it's like
he blinks twice.
yeah, and he has like flashlight eyes for a bad example, but
Not really. That's what they look like.
Yeah. And then if bro's invisible, why
flashlight
are
eyes-
you hiding?
Every
time-
because he can smell him, and he's looking for him.
Yeah.
You would hide too.
Yeah, I would hide.
But he's hiding in the book because he's also looking for that stone, and he's
Yeah.
looking for a way for the dwarves to come in. And the dwarf, oh my God! See,
The
this
dwarves
is a
do come
huge
in,
difference in the book too.
It's not just Bilbo.
No,
Okay.
they don't come in. Bilbo talks to this dragon,
Twice.
and
Doesn't he go leave and come back? Doesn't
he does. He leaves and say, "Hey, there's a dragon in there."
So they go to this mountain.
Dude, there's a dragon in
They
there.
go to the mountain not even knowing the
They
dragon.
know he's in there, but they don't know if he's alive still. They don't know if he's sleeping. They don't know what's going on in there because nobody has been in there for 200 years or something.
And okay.
Maybe not 200 years, but a very long, long time. Also, by the way, they don't mention this in this movie. They don't mention it in that one. Smaug kills Grandfather Thorin
Yeah.
and then hunts down Papa Thorin and kills him too. He didn't know about Thorin to make sure that they don't come back for their mountain gold.
Yeah, right.
He was very, very like,
Did you say that's in the Peter Jackson one?
It's not in the Peter Jackson.
Because I remember that.
He kills Grandpa, but then the White Orc kills Dad. Well, they think, no, White Orc kills Grandpa. And then Dad goes crazy. And you find out what happens to him later on. I was like, what? That was a cool thing in the book. That Smaug, because he's just a dragon.
Yeah.
Well, he's not even a dragon. He's a drake because he doesn't have front legs. He's got wing arms.
Okay.
In this, he has 6 limbs.
Yeah.
Technically.
He does. He's got arms on his wings, too.
which is technically how you're supposed to write a winged creature, I guess. Whatever, as fantasy.
All I know
They
is-
hate when they have 6 limbs. People hate when they
so
have
there's
them.
different types. Well, so
I mean,
Smaug.
like science people. Like you see all the.
He did this when he said
He said
science and
science.
talking about dragons.
Yes. some video I've
Hang on.
Scientologist.
some video I've seen.
Randy Official does not believe in dragons.
No.
He's not Joe Rogan, who's a dragon believer.
I can't believe that. Oh my
No, I
God.
don't
Can't believe what?
dragons.
That anybody believes.
He doesn't really.
Well,
He
there
doesn't.
are people who do.
Yeah, I know.
And like,
Tell me the difference between
they're
that
like,
and
well,
a
why does all these
pterodactyl.
cultures have dragons in them? And I was like, well, because 90% of these cultures came from the same place.
Here's why. Because their
Cool.
visual interpretation. How would you draw an airplane if you never saw an airplane? So when the space gods came down, the aliens. I'm just kidding.
My theory always was somebody found a dinosaur bone and was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, if you see a T-Rex looking head.
Yeah. Well, they found
Also-
elephant skulls, and that's where they thought the Cyclops came from.
Yeah.
Building a skeleton is like, this might work.
Yeah, it is.
my
It's
God.
exactly like
this
that.
might be right.
Two dinosaurs died
You
at the
probably
same
just-
time, and part of this dinosaur doesn't
Match.
fossilize. All these bones belong to that one now.
Yep. Exactly. Well,
Then that's why you get a plumbus.
that's where you get the plumbus from.
All I know is I don't eat dragon. That's more for kings and stuff. But
Yeah, I'm more of a peasant man myself. Dragon. Oh my God. Anyway, back onto the
the
Smaug.
cartoon
Yes.
Smog.
Uh,
Yeah, he's like I like how you put it, a chimera dragon, because he had him be a Norse-looking dragon, and then they
so
drew
when you
him
say
that way.
Norse dragon, what does that entail? Oh, maybe
I
does
think it
have-
means 4 legs with wings.
Yeah.
So on the cover
Yeah.
here is Tolkien's. You can't see this, but is Tolkien's drawing of Smaug. You can, and he does have 4 limbs and 2 wings.
Yeah, he's still a little more slender than
Yeah, he's not thick.
a Norse one, but yeah.
So, and that's from the man himself. I think the only person to work on any of these movies who had met the man was Christopher Lee.
Probably.
I think because Tolkien fought in World War One.
Yeah, he was dead in like the 70s.
Tolkien was,
Yeah,
and Christopher Lee fought in World War Two and he knew everybody.
right.
He was a very, as we've spoken before, a very
Probably tried to kill him.
He might.
Just kidding.
God, I love that man. I love him. But so Bilbo talks to the dragon, and he's like, I don't remember their exact conversation, but Smaug essentially said, "Oh, okay,"
I like the first half
Okay.
of their conversation. It's nice. They're like,
bantering together.
yeah, he's like,
Yeah,
oh,
it's
you're
very
speaking
cool.
riddles. And he's kind of like, all right, I'll entertain this. Eventually he's like, what is, I'm not doing, like, I'll just go kill these people. What
Yeah,
are you
right.
talking
I
about?
love
Why are
that
you guys
part.
doing this?
No more of your
Yeah,
riddles.
he like breaks and he's like, what am
I'm
I
done.
doing?
So in the book, I don't remember exactly how
And
the
I like how he's
conversation
like,
goes.
not take it. Hey, thief, go ahead. Like,
Take what you want.
yeah.
There's enough
Yeah,
here.
there's plenty. And then some.
I think he was goading him, though. I think if Bilbo actually took anything, he would have
yeah,
attacked
of course. But,
well, he does take that cup.
I don't know. It's
To prove
he
to
seems
them-
very calm-headed until when he doesn't. So
Yeah.
I don't. I liked that.
The dwarves
Yeah.
never see Smaug in the book. The dwarves never.
They don't see him on a
Saw him.
on a cliffside.
They don't
So-
see him flying towards Lake Town.
Nope. So then this is I love the way the book does it. So Bilbo talks to Smaug, comes out here, talks to the dwarves, goes back in there to talk to Smaug, and they have some altercation. And then Smaug leaves. He's like, "All right, okay, Mister Bilbo boy,"
Yeah.
and he leaves.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the chapter. And then for like 3 chapters, it's the dwarves reclaiming the mountain. Dragon's not here. It's ours now. What are you gonna do? Then we get the chapter where Smaug goes and desolates
Town.
this town, which is only like 5 paragraphs, by the way.
Yeah.
Everybody complained about it in the movie. There's, oh my God, so much desolation happening. And there's not. It doesn't happen in the book either. He tell the bird to tell the man.
Yeah.
By the way, the birds speak, if you didn't know that. And Thorin speaks bird.
Well, so does Frodo.
That's why
Well,
he goes
the
out.
bird speaks Hobbit too, because he's like, "Go tell him, go tell him."
Bilbo notices the mark in his plates.
The
Yeah.
one cell that doesn't exist.
Right.
Yeah. So Bilbo goes to tell the birds to tell the archers in Lake Town, That's why he left the first time to go back in there. And yeah, Smaug is absent from the book for what feels like 2 to 3 chapters.
Uh-huh.
And they're just doing, like, you watch Thorin go crazy and how he's like, yeah, this is more than enough for everybody. We can reunite the 5 armies.
Right.
We can bring everybody together. He's like, absolutely not. This is mine and mine alone. Also, not absent from this movie, Thorin's cousin or brother is a big part of this book too.
Yeah, and he just shows up.
Yeah,
Because in the book, I think he sends for him.
yes, he does.
But in this, the guy just like shows up.
yeah,
with the rest of the army.
Yeah.
He's
right.
like,
out of nowhere.
my cousin? All right.
Dude.
You were 12 people 5 seconds ago.
Gonna take on an army of elves.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Where'd
they get the armor?
Where do you get off of being like, yeah, no, dude, we could just take you. They had an army right there, and we're
They
like,
weren't being polite.
they were this close to being like, no, dude, you have to. Like,
Yeah.
you have
they-
to. There's no reason not
They
to.
just wanted their own stuff back.
And then they're like, no, wait a week. Sure. No, we will. No, I said, if I was Bilbo, I would have went invisible, stabbed Thorin immediately. As soon as Thorin was like, no, they're not getting any, I'd been like, oh, wait, I think I left something there. Boom, I would have killed him so quick. Because he's the only one who has a real problem with it. And for some reason, the other guys have no...
He's the king.
No...
Yeah, he's there.
In the book, they do have a problem.
Okay,
with it.
because I would have been very upset, being like, "What?
Well, there's
What are
a
you doing?
point.
Bro, there's 12 of us, dude."
And they show this in the Jackson movie where there's discourse with the dwarves about it. And,
5 goblins
Bomber.
kidnapped like 3
Yeah, right.
trolls kidnapped all of them.
Well, the trolls are bigger.
4 armies surround them and are like, "No, dude, we want some of this.
6 spiders.
We want some of this." Nah, I think I got you. I think I could. After all of that, I think I can handle you guys, no problem. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. That part I don't like, but I guess if he was crazy,
He went crazy.
I
He went
guess it makes
And he
more
knew he was
sense.
going to have reinforcements because he sent for his cousin. I'm going to call him a cousin. I don't know if he's a brother or cousin.
I'm pretty sure it's cousin.
I think it is.
So he knew that he was going to have. That's why he's like, all right, we'll see. Oh, yeah, you're going to take us? Because he had sent for reinforcements. It wasn't just going to be those 12. Well, actually, it's 13.
My
by the
thing
way.
is, the other people. No.
We're not going to wait.
Yeah. Why? All right. What happened to those 12 guys? We came here for 12 people. The dragon got them. You didn't hear about that dragon? Like, they would have been eliminated. The 5 whatever armies would have been united because the one guy being that guy, I would have been gone.
Well, so the orcs show up, too. And the orcs.
And then they all are like,
Yeah, everybody teams up against the orcs.
which I thought was funny.
Yeah.
Like the resolution of that, like being like, no, remember we're close, and he's like, yeah, I
like
remember that.
Yeah.
Like the elf person with
Yeah.
the human.
The wood elf.
Yeah,
Another thing that I think was a cool thing in the book, and they do it in the Jackson, but they don't do it here, is that when Bilbo takes that Arkenstone, and he gives it to the elf and the man, who is Bard and Elf Lord, Thorin is called to another Congress where they can talk this out,
Uh-huh.
and they're like, we have this. You have nothing now. This is what you want, and we have it. And he's like, how? Who betrayed me? And Bilbo's like, I did, because you're going crazy, man. And this is not a time for violence. This is not a time for war. This is a time for resolution and peace. And he's like, well, then you're dead to me, Bilbo, and I'll kill you right now. And then you hear this thunderous voice saying, if he's your enemy, then so am I. And Gandalf reappears.
Uh-huh.
And Thorin starts backing down. And man, I would have loved that, because I love this Gandalf's voice.
Yeah, he
I
does a good
love
job, John Huston.
So
Gandalf does something like that, where he's like, who are you talking to? And like with the war, and he's like, why are we listening to this guy? And then he has like a moment like that.
yeah, but it's not like, because he's hidden, he's disguised as a woman, I think.
Oh.
And he's going to kill Bilbo, and he's like, you're not going to do that,
Yeah.
because you forget that, like, he's not just an old man, he's a
Right.
wizard. He is a wizard, Harry.
My roommate wants me to watch The Lord of the Rings, and I started them,
Did
but I
you-
passed out.
So on this podcast, we'll be watching The Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
But we'll be watching the animated Lord of the Rings.
You'll probably like that.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
And it made a lot of people mad because it's advertised as The Lord of the Rings,
Yeah.
but it's only Fellowship and the Two Towers.
Right.
Food and Fellowship.
And it's not even all of them.
No, it's drastically cut down too. And then the Rankin Bass did
Came back for Return of the King.
Return of the King.
Where there's a whip, there's a way.
Yeah.
I know I say this a lot. You should check out the Magic the Gathering Lord of the Ring collab because
I can't. Post Malone has the ring.
he has the really expensive, the single one, the one ring that is
Yeah.
a single
It's a
of
one of one.
but they do sell other one rings.
Can't have it. Can't have it. Man. It's gone. Took it to
Sam
Mount
and
Doom.
Frodo are a commander set, so they're like team.
Mr. Frodo.
So they're like 2 in 1, which is cool.
That is cool.
Sauron's one. The Sam and Frodo deck comes with Gollum, and Gollum. I think they use more of the art that's in the book because they don't look like the movies at all
Well, it's
on the card.
Yeah,
so
it's paying people's likenesses.
yeah,
They're either from the somebody's drawings or they're artist at interpretations.
but I'm probably wrong. But I wonder if there's a Smaug. And then I bring up the
Probably
orcs
is.
because Sauron's ability is like amass orcs.
Sauron or Saruman?
Saruman might be it.
The white
There's a lot of
wizard?
cards.
There's a lot of names that sound similar
Yeah,
too.
there are.
But it's cool because I saw this, and then like you said, the Food and Fellowship. I kind of get that. So
Well, it's the Fellowship of the Ring and the Two Towers.
Hmm.
That's those two movies, which are based on the two books, and then Return of the King, which is the third one, which Rankin Bass came back for. But it's animated differently. It's animated like this, and the Lord of the Rings animated movie
It's
is
Baskin.
rotoscope.
Yeah. It's
And
totally different.
Yeah.
I don't love rotoscope. So
Yeah, where do you see these orcs, though? They're
But oh my
awesome.
god, and it's got a star-studded cast too. It's got John Hurt as Aragorn,
Yeah.
and that's all I know.
I just found out
Star-studded.
how star-studded it was. I
One
didn't
person.
realize.
I know it's got a big name cast. I
Aragorn used to be
remember
my
John
favorite. I
Hurt.
loved him.
In that one.
Yeah, well, Stryker, when he was called Stryker. He was cool as hell. And I didn't even realize it was John Hurt.
Yeah, right. He just kept popping up everywhere. Another character and a whole segment that's completely excluded from this, and I 100% get it, is Bjorn, the skin changer, is what he's called in this.
I don't remember.
He's a guy who lives out in the woods. He's like an 8-foot tall beast man who can shapeshift. And they go to his place, seek shelter, and he doesn't like dwarves. So Gandalf's like, well, you come out in pairs and we'll settle this. Right? And he starts regaling the story they've been on. So in this book, we get a recap of everything we
pretty cool.
just read. And here come dwarves. He's like, I thought you had only 2 people in your party. Oh, but 2, just a couple. And then 2 more. I thought, since when was a couple 6? Oh, just several people. Just I forgot. And he keeps telling him the story. And eventually everybody's out there in his living room. And he's like, well, I'm not stupid. I know you're all dwarves, but you're kind enough. So I'll be
that's
cool with you. And he shows up at the end to help fight too, because he's like, something dark's happening.
Uh-huh.
And everybody's pointing to the dragon, but as we
There's
find
a
out,
Phantom Menace.
there is. And I overall, I think this is a good Hobbit movie to get your toes in the water.
It is.
'Cause
It absolutely is.
I think if you don't care about the Hobbit at all, you can
if you
watch
don't care about
this.
fantasy at all, you can watch this
Yeah.
and not worry about it. But if you wanted more, this is a great introduction. Because I think everybody does a good job. I like the way everybody's drawn. Everything's so unique.
Camera work, sometimes a little shaky.
Which is
Sometimes I'm
funny.
like, how is an animated movie got shaky camera?
Well, they add it.
What do you mean?
Like them zooming into the Shire, it's like if I put my phone up to the thing, it was like
Yeah, they put it in there to make it feel like it's a camera.
I don't think it went with the way I liked. I don't like it.
I don't like some of these deaths that are just and then spinning.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Really PG-13 way to kill somebody.
Well, it's a
real
TV
quick.
movie,
yeah, it aired on television.
so that's why there's no blood too.
Spiral, and then they don't exist anymore.
In the novel, too, the reason why the Battle of the Five Armies was very quick is because he gets hit in the head with a rock. And he is knocked out. So he wakes up and the battle's done.
No, right.
And
The narrator wasn't there for it.
yeah, that's why I kind of like this, because it's true to Bilbo's story. Like, nothing outside of what Bilbo can experience is told in the story.
Right.
So everything that is added on to it and anything else is the creator's touch.
Yeah.
And I like that. I don't think we get 5 actual armies in this either.
Yeah, there ends up being 5. I was counting them.
The Eagles show up in this?
Yeah, they do.
The Eagles do show up?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I was
basically, they're like a
they
smart
showed up
bomb.
once. It was like the end of Anchorman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, why?
5 armies.
Yeah, yeah. It very much reminded me of the end of Anchorman. I was like, oh, all right.
All right. Yeah, you too.
Everybody, yeah. Everybody. How did the wood guys even know there was treasure?
The elves?
Yeah.
Because they've been doing business with the dwarves forever, and then the dwarves cut them off. That's why they're angry with the dwarves.
No,
It's because the dwarves, A, have their heirloom jewels that they're not giving back, and B, because the dwarves cut everybody off. Grandpa Thorin went nuts, and everybody suffered from that. And then this dragon shows up because he's got a hoard of gold. He's like, well, I want that. So he kills everybody. And now that the dragon's dead, and there's a handful of dwarves in that mountain, now it's time for us to get our share of stuff.
Yeah.
Because those elves are cut off from everything. Because early on, you see Elrond, Rivendell, and it's all beautiful. But then you see these wood elves, and they're all blue, gross. All look like they've got muck on them. I hate the way they look in this. They're gross. And I think even in the novel, Bilbo spends like 2-3 months in Rivendell when he's coming back.
I don't know.
He and Gandalf, they're just because he loves it so much.
Yeah,
It's so
why
nice
leave?
there. Oh, and something else excluded from this. His family sucks. They assume he's
Whose family?
dead, Bilbo's.
Oh, yeah, they're
And
selling
they're
stuff.
selling all his stuff. And he comes back and says, what the hell's going on? Say, oh, we thought you were dead. Welcome
Well,
back.
it is a long time.
Yeah, just to be gone. With no correspondence or anything. But I find, because he already, because he's the Baggins of Bag End and then the Baggins of somewhere else.
Uh-huh.
He really just doesn't like them. He
Yeah.
thinks they're jerks. And that's just, I don't know. It's not in here. It doesn't need to be in here, but
Right.
it's a cool thing. So I suggest it because I'm a fan of these movies. I give it a thumbs up, thumb and a half up. Because it could.
I
be
give
better.
it 1 thumbs up because it's okay. And you do get a primer for the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like if you were like, should I read The Hobbit? And you watch this movie, you get
like
all
it?
that and then some. If you're into that kind of stuff, it's a good way to get your toe in there.
Yeah.
But man, them songs are boring, and they just drag everything down.
They really do. Well, one of them really does. I like the rest of them.
I think they all do.
What about you, Mr. Randy Oaf?
I really, really liked it. I give it 2 thumbs up. I think it's worth. I give it 3 glass bottles smashed together. I think it's better than other movies. I would,
Of course, it's better than other movies,
really-
and it's not as good as other movies.
yeah, but I like it. I think it's good. I don't think it's boring.
Well, you heard it here, folks. Live from Saturday night, it's the Grindhouse Podcast. Check it out. Check us out. We're everywhere you listen to podcasts. We're on Apple. We're on Spotify. We're on Amazon. We're on the other one, the Audible. We're everywhere you can listen to anything at all. We're in your ears. We're in your brain. We're not going to leave you alone. Share it with your friends. Share it with your enemies, especially the enemies that you hate the most. We are always going to be here
Make
for you.
a friend just to share it with them.
Make a friend just to share it with them. You guys can talk about an unexpected journey.
Do this. Be like, yo, I got to show you this quick video real quick. put the whole podcast on.
And then the movie.
No, and then just hold your phone and be like, no, it's getting to the good part. It might the part I want to show you is it's coming right now, and then let him get him. See how long you get him to watch the podcast.
Start with the first one.
Put the timestamps in where you got people to stop watching.
Yeah, do that. Leave a comment. Did you like this movie? Do you like the Jackson movies? Have you read the book? You should check out the Andy Serkis one. It's really good. I do that as an official Grindhouse recommendation. We are not sponsored by any of these things. We're coming at you raw, unprotected. So watch it. Check it out. And as always, have a greatest adventure is what lies ahead. Cut it.